Automation. All right. So how you do automation in Sheets. Automation stands for automatic notifications, alerts, all that stuff. So what you do is from any sheet, whether it's the project plan, the RAID log, or anything, um, you can set up automation. So I've just created a generic sheet here. I've got um, a field defined as people, and then some other columns. So essentially, we can set up some automated rules. Project plans and RAID logs come with some automation already set up, and you can modify those. But you'll see this button here called automation. Inside there, you'll see you can set up alerts to alert somebody. You can set up reminders, request an update, um, set up an approval workflow. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. If you want to see what's already been set up, click on Manage Workflows. In here, nothing has been set up. There is a default one that can be set up that's currently grayed out, so you see it's disabled. Well, let's enable that one. It's enabled, and so what this will do is alert whenever a row is changed. So let's edit this workflow. So it says the trigger. When rows are added or changed on this sheet, and when any field changes, it's going to alert somebody, and it's going to alert the contacts in the cell people. So essentially, what it's going to do is anytime a row has been changed, if there's someone in the people column, it's going to alert them that it changed. So let's hit save on this. We'll leave it alone. And so now if this changes, I will get an alert. I get all my alerts currently in Teams, so that's where it'll show up. So let's see here. So if I change something, change one, and hit save, that change is going to be sent to me. This has been modified, and I'm going to get an alert that says there's been a change to my column because it's set to alert me. You can have other things, such if this was a date column in the project plan. Let's make this a date. Let's say, we'll just call this a date for the fun of it. And let's set a date to it, the 8th, for example. So anyhow, we've got dates. If we go to the automation, we could set up a rule for that too. So let's create a new rule. Let's see, let's create an alert. And this alert will go when, and let's create. So when rows are added or changed. Now we're going to change that. We're going to say when a date is reached. Now it could say run on a certain date, or we're going to base it on the date field. You have a couple options. Let's run it on the date field. So when the date field that I defined as date runs, whenever that's reached, it's going to alert specific people in a cell. Now I've got it set to alert specific, by default it's alert specific people. So it's going to notify Sean O'Neill. Now, if it was to send to everyone shared to the sheet, it would notify everybody who's been shared to the sheet that that date has been reached. Or we can send to contacts in a cell, which was like that other workflow we did where anyone who's in the people column here will get notified. So you've got some options on who to notify and where to send the notification. So that is that. You can add additional conditions. So when the date is reached and when something else, say percent complete, is not done, say, let's say, if we were to say like column 5 was a percent complete, we'll just say equals 100. When it equals 100, then this will go through. Now we could say, this is when it contains 100. We could say is does not equal 100, is less than equal to, is less than, is greater than. You have a bunch of options, is equal to, or is not equal to. So we're saying it's not equal to 100. then it would send the notification. As long as that date was reached and it's not equal 100, it would send the notifications. So this is how you would set up a workflow. You can add more conditions by hitting a plus sign, add an action, add a condition. You could have a whole workflow where it would notify one person. Let's add an action in here. So when that date is reached, it's going to do something, and you set up another workflow. And then, depending on what this is, it will go here, and you can have an other. So if it's 100%, it's going to alert me this person. If it's not, if it's not, if it is equal, because this is a not is the other one is not, it will do something different. So you can have a whole bunch of ifs and what ifs and set it up to where you can alert people based on different conditions. You could request an approval. So if it's not equal, you could be like request an approval. Yeah, let's make this simple so that's what equal to. So I could do in the not. Let's say 100. All right. So if it's equal to 100, it's just going to move on. But if it's not equal to 100, it's doing this otherwise, and it's going to request an approval from, you could say, specific people. So I could put from Rhonda. So now what's going to happen in my workflow is when it comes in, if that date is reached, you could have some other thing going on. We didn't end up using this, so we could probably remove that in a second. But then it says if it's 100, it's going to notify whoever's in that cell. But if it's not equal to 100, it's going to request an approval from a specific person, and it's going to save the response in one of the columns. And then if it's approved, you could add more actions and conditions. If declined, more. So you can have a whole flow of things based on all the actions and conditions you create. So that is how automations work. You can create some pretty fancy ones. You can create pretty simple ones. You could even set a reminder that would just be when the date is reached, send to specific people a reminder, an alert, a notification. They're all pretty much the same thing. You set up your workflow, you set up your conditions, you can remove a condition, like you don't need that condition, you just keep going. When that date's reached, alert somebody, pretty simple, or you can add all that stuff. So that is how automation works.